So I wanted to show this building because it looks exactly like this building from this anime I seen. And it was like these abandoned apartments, but it was somebody that was living there, like a kid that was living there. And then something happened where the apartment became a whole ship. So like instead of the city and the ground being there and everything, like it just all turned into water. They was all on a ship, and a bunch of kids was just all around trying to figure out how they can get back home basically. So they had to heal and go through a lot of emotional trauma and figure out why certain things was happening, right? And in the midst of them figuring things out, they was able to see a way of how they could do that. So like as they going through what they was going through, just imagine like you live where you live at and your apartment building becomes a ship, and instead of going down to check the mailbox or going down to go to the store, it's just a bunch of ocean and water, and all of a sudden your apartment is moving, so and you a kid, like, and you around a bunch of your other classmates, you know what I'm saying, neighborhood kids and shit like that. So they panicking at first. They trying to figure out like what's going on, why is this happening to me. I had all of this stuff to do and this was such an inconvenience. Like, like I had vacation, I had this going on, I was going this place with my family. How is it that all of a sudden where my mind only knew that a building, an apartment, a house could only be fixated in one place, now all of a sudden, because something that can move across water in a way I haven't ever seen before, you know? So when I said that they was able to find a way to see through that, it was through their emotional patterns to try to figure out, okay, putting my emotions aside and being more practical about my situation and figure out what it is that I need to do to be able to get through this is something these kids had to learn within an instant. When at that particular time in their life, they might not have ever gone through a situation where they needed to be in that mindset because they kids and they got parents and they got other family members that can take care of them and can take them on vacation and things like that, right? So through them able to find more practicality and how to see the situation instead of just panicking because they knew that that wasn't going to help, they started utilizing the tools around them, right? So they seen that it was other apartment buildings that also was ships and was going across water and was floating and becoming boats too. So they like, okay, on our apartment building, which was previously abandoned, right? It's no food for real. Like it's no resources like that. So they come up with a way to get like a cord, like some type of cord, like not an extension cord, but like some type of bungee type cord, like the kind of cords that people will probably use for like zip lining or something like that. And then they throw it all the way to the other building and slide down that bitch and go to the other building and get food, and they found vending machines, like they found these resources and stuff like that. And mind you, like you a regular kid, elementary, middle school, like you don't know shit about this type of life, but you able to use your improv to come up with this situation because you have no choice but to do that because your parents is not around to help you or save you through this situation, right? So they do that or whatever, and then they experience other kind of obstacles where it's just like, okay, we got food, yeah, we gotta grow up, but how the fuck we gonna get back home? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was just saying all of this really because that apartment building reminded me of that anime. But before I even started this video, I was thinking about how the Virgo moon is going on, and I was thinking about all of the like the archetype of Virgo, and I was just thinking about like your nerves being involved, your nervousness, you know, having to play a part in how you get from point A to point B to be practical enough to get through all the details to see like this is what I have to do to get through the situation regardless of how I actually feel. I can utilize my feelings to my advantage because if I'm going to be nervous about something, at least I'm willing to make something move. And cuz like if a person's nerves, like if you're a nervous person, you might have certain nerves going on, but it's like you still got this, like how sometimes people who are like geniuses or people who have like a hyper focus, they're really into like the specific details about something. Like sometimes to the outside world they could come off and seem like weird or something like that, like it could seem like what's up with them, but the stuff that they able to do, the outside world who might be similar to everybody else is not able to do those same things. This individual being labeled as weird or whatever word can be, like they can't like do those same kind of things or whatever. But anyway, so I was just kind of thinking about that because I'm like, with this Virgo moon going on, and moon being how you emotionally react and respond, to detail oriented earth, practicality, making something move, and going through the nerves to be able to, like I said, get from point A to point B. So it's about practicality, it's about earth and stuff like that, And I'm thinking about my own life, tomorrow's Jupiter Day. I have some plans for Jupiter Day that involve an apartment building. And like I said, what started this video was me looking at the apartment building over there. And I'm like, that looks just like an anime from an anime I seen. Before I left the house, I was watching the anime. I had just started Vampire Slayer. Is it called Vampire? Demon Slayer, I meant. But yeah, so I'm like wow, like, just like all of the synchronicities and stuff. But yeah, so like as far as my plans tomorrow, I'm thinking about the fact that it's Jupiter Day, which is a travel day. So it's like I'll be traveling and getting into my practicality, like, dotting my I's and crossing my T's and, that kind of phrase or whatever, in terms of like what I'm doing in the home. And when it comes to like the moon, for me, I always think about it being like a home aspect, like the moon being like your womb or whatever, and the moon, like I have a Cancer moon, so when I think about that, I do think about like motherly, nurturing type of qualities and attributes. One thing I noticed too, like as I'm like walking around, is that like when you be more so on the sidewalk, it be a lot going on as far as like my comfort level. Like I feel more comfortable if I'm interacting with cars in the sidewalk going past versus like a skinny sidewalk where I'm very limited to like how I can maneuver around, versus in the middle of the street where it's like, yeah. But anyway, so as far as the moon being in Virgo and Jupiter Day being tomorrow and how that relates to me. So like I said, when, I got the moon going on, so I'm reacting and responding to Virgo like things when it comes to practicality, getting to the details, dotting my I's and crossing my T's and stuff like that. Jupiter, it being on a Jupiter Day travel, which I would have to travel pretty far to a particular location, and all of this going on, and being able to being able to come to a certain not like closure, but yes, closure, like not as far as like a relationship, like the things you want to say to the person before the, like, when people use closure, they usually reference relationships, but I'm more so talking about like the things involved with my personal relationships, which has more to do with not necessarily personal ones, like the relationship with a landlord, the relationship with a previous landlord, a current landlord, the relationship with particular offices and things you have to go to, and stuff like that. So, so Moon, Jupiter, and then also whenever your sun, where the sun is at in the sky, which is about to be Capricorn, is opposite your moon, which I mentioned that I have a Cancer moon, is your death stage, right? So if you have the things going on from your fallen stage that you wasn't able to let go in your death stage, you're gonna feel the remnants of that, and it can impact you in a heavy way, So I'm like, all of these things are, so that's why I said closure, because I'm like, all of these things are coming together, like things I prepared, applications I put in before, just different things I've done prior to this. I see how they're all coming together right now, and it being Sagittarius season, and I have Sagittarius in the 4th house, so I knew that things was going to be going on as far as traveling a lot more, internally and externally, because that's where the sun is at, because that's where my 4th house is always at, because that's where I feel home. So I felt like, of course, there was going to be a sense of like transformation when it comes to home, especially based off of the mindset that I'm in, because where your mind go is where your body go, So yeah, so just those attributes and those type of things, coming together. So I am excited and prepared for how everything I'm seeing is just coming all together. And I'm grateful that I was able to learn more about my environments and my surroundings and learn more about myself, to kind of see like, wow, these patterns are so beautiful. And I'm able to pick apart and see different pieces and just how I can, I just really appreciate it, But yeah, so that's what sparked this video, the apartment building that I had just passed, which is not really an apartment building, it's the student resident hall at this particular university I'm at. I don't even know if it's open and people go in there. It don't look like it. It looked like kind of old. It looked abandoned, just like the one in the anime, but not abandoned like how an abandoned house or apartment would look that I've seen in actual life, but like anime abandoned building. Like, how food in anime looks so fucking good and flavorful, and just like, in my experience, that kind of food from anime looks different than like the food that I've eaten or the food that I enjoy and stuff like that. So yeah, thank y'all for watching.